안녕하세요 여러분, 트레비스입니다. 태평양전선이 출시되고 이제 3일 정도 지났습니다. 많은 분들이 이 게임을 즐겁게 즐기고 계신 것 같아요. 저도 물론 아주 즐겁게 즐기고 있는데요. 오늘은 제 채널의 영상과 좀 다른 형식의 영상을 가져왔어요. 지난번 스톡홀름의 다이스 본사에 방문했을 때 다이스의 크리에이티브 디렉터 라스 구스타브슨과 인터뷰를 할 수 있었습니다. 캡처 세션을 참여하는 동안 여러 개발자들이 오갔고 여러 이야기들을 나누긴 했지만 그 이야기는 다음으로 미루고요. 오늘은 태평양 전선의 개발 과정에 대한 이야기와 그 외에 한국 유저들이 궁금해하는 사항에 대해서 한번 들어보도록 하겠습니다. 인터뷰에 흔쾌히 응해주신 라스와 준비를 도와주신 EA 코리아 플레이어 매니저님께 감사의 말씀을 드립니다. 인터뷰는 인벤과 공동으로 진행했으며 질문 내용은 인벤의 질문과 제 개인의 질문을 합해 순서대로 질문하였습니다.
Can you please give introduction for yourself?
Yes, hello, my name is Lars Gustafsson. I'm a producer on Battlefield 5.
Okay, before we start, can you explain the Pacific War to Korean Battlefield users, like why the Pacific Ocean is a new stage or what a new game experience do gamers enjoy?
So, the Pacific in Battlefield 5 is a new step, a new stage. To be fair, for Battlefield, the Pacific has been there from the very get-go. When we launched Battlefield 1942 back in 2002, the very first demo we did took place on Wake Island in the Pacific, and I think that combination of land, sea and air combat in a tropical paradise became very symbolical for Battlefield. And since then we've been coming back in Battlefield 1943, and now when we went back to the Second World War with Battlefield 5, the question came immediately, will you go to the Pacific? When will we get to play Iwo Jima and Wake Island? And now is the time. And for us, it's both that wish from the community to go to the Pacific, since it brings very unique flavor, it's unique battles, it's unique forces, it's a very different nature. So from the community perspective, but also for us developers, as it allows us to bring in not only land and air, but also the sea elements of the amphibious warfare, and of course the Japanese and the American forces, and the very different tone of the game with lots of new and fun gameplay. So it's exciting times for us as developers, and hopefully liked by our players.
What part of the development team prepared for this specific area, hoping to appeal users, like direction of development?
So when we started to build the Pacific, it was clear to us that we wanted to look at Battlefield 5 as a whole, and what areas we wanted to continue to improve. And it became clear to us that with the Pacific, there's a very different type of war. So we set a lot of directions in regard for what were the biomes, the type of locations we wanted to go to. So we sent away a crew to do a photo scanning trip. And since we couldn't send them to all the different islands, we found that Hawaii had a lot of the biomes. You know, they had the lava rocks, they had the palm trees and the foliage and everything. So we sent a crew to Hawaii to capture all of the elements and photo scan to be able to portray these worlds correctly. But then, of course, we set the direction for the new type of gameplay we wanted. And it was clear from the beginning that it was a vast war in the Pacific, and it took place in so many places, and it was naval battles, there was close quarter combat. So we quickly on decided that we wanted to capture the invasion experience. So a dug-in defender meets a heavy force that comes from the sea, an armada. And that has been at the heart of everything we've been doing. So whether it was the choice of the vehicles, the amphibious vehicles, the planes, the ships that you launch from, to the fortifications, everything has been built with kind of invasion in mind.
What materials did you usually resort to during the development process?
So before building this, when we had decided that we were going to Pacific, we sat down and to be fair, we watched a lot of movies. We have been making Battlefield games for many years now, and many of us come to the company for the love of making games, but also interest in this era. So we watched movies like Letters from Iwo Jima, it was Flags of Our Fathers, The Pacific, a lot of movies and reading books just to get a better understanding for what happened. But we also did a lot of research in regards to the hardware used. We investigated, there were documents to be found on the net around the Japanese defense installations on different locations to give us a good foundation and make the world we built credible. We even went to the States and recorded 2 fighter planes, the Japanese Zero and the Corsair, with the correct, actually the last correct or final engine of original engine on the Zero. So everything to capture the correct sound of the weapons, correct sound of the vehicles, and portray the world and the installations in a correct and historical way. In the end, it's a game, so we make it all into a good gaming world, but we want to root it on reality.
Battlefield has been using small unknown wars as a base, but why has it turned into such a famous Pacific War this time?
That's a good. So why do we, after portraying kind of the unseen, the untold, unplayed battles of the Second World War, now go to the Pacific? I think for us, it's been an interesting journey where there were so many developers, including us, who portrayed the Second World War for so many years, that now that we came back to build Battlefield 5, we wanted to find a different perspective that people probably hadn't seen or experienced before. And that's why with the launch of Battlefield 5, we wanted to tell some of those stories that were lesser known. Everything from about the Norwegian resistance fighters in this very cold climate up here in the Nordic, or the story about the Tiger crew on the kind of verge of the crumbling German war effort. So as such, that was our perspective from the beginning. But then it became clear as well that there's a lot of untapped energy in the stories still to be told. And I think Pacific is such a big story to be told. And there was a big wish from the community to portray some of those very iconic battles. And as such, when we moved into the Pacific, we said, let's not shy away from it. Let's not portray battles that are lesser known to people. Instead, let's go all in and deliver on that experience of that many times the movies give you, of, for example, the Battle of Iwo Jima.
I wonder if there are additional weapons, rides, and maps beside the one that have been released that are available today, like based on future releases.
So, I mean, there's a big game out there portraying, Europe and to a certain degree Northern Africa, and with the Pacific and the release of Pacific. At the launch, there will be 2 new iconic maps of Pacific Storm and Iwo Jima. And with that, you will get to experience 4 new tanks, 2 medium tanks, an American and a Japanese one, and 2 amphibious tanks, very different types of gameplay, the light tanks, but you can bypass and you can kind of outsmart your enemies. We will also have a set of transport vehicles, 2 fighters like the Zero and the Corsair, and overall building a very different and more amphibious gameplay with the vehicles. In addition, you will have new weapons. So from the launch of Chapter 5 and the Pacific, you will get to experience iconic weapons like the Type 99 Arisaka or the Type 100 SMG, or American Garand, the M1 Garand, or the 1919 A6 machine guns. So iconic weapons, as well as the katana, the sword, which will be a battle pickup, which we place in the world so you can find it. And as well as the flamethrower, which is a very iconic weapon as well. Both of them are, you could see them as power-ups. They are powerful, but at the same time you become extremely vulnerable when you have them. So it's a risk and reward, so your adrenaline will go pumping. And then as you play through Chapter 5 and the War of the Pacific, you will also get to experience more weapons as part of the Tides of War.
Okay, we should move some sensitive issue right now. Cheating issues are considered more important than any other country in Korea's Battlefield community. I'm wondering if you are dealing with this cheating issue in a different way than in the past, or if you are responding to the cheating issue in the way we know it. I understand DICE has already received a lot of feedback on cheating issues, but is there anything special you have to say to Korean users?
In regards to cheating, I mean, our all the time and effort we spend into recreating the Pacific and the Second World War in Battlefield 5, our efforts always goes into creating those battles, but overall into creating a very solid experience overall for our players. So be it matchmaking or be it cheating, it's something that we take super seriously, since we want everyone to have a good and fair fight. So as such, we do a lot within these walls in order to continuously improve the experience for our players. At times it's not always everything we can talk about, since some things are for us to know in order to keep it tight and ensure that players continuously get a better and better experience. But rest assured that we continuously monitor and do everything we can to make your experience better and better experience.
Okay, one more question about the cheating issue. Users in Korea hope that the RSP Renter Server program will be activated soon as a countermeasure against cheating issue. I know it's been delayed from the current release date, but can I know the release date of the RSP? If it is impossible to share the exact date, I'm wondering if it is available in 2019.
So in regards to this, sorry. So in regards to cheating questions, but also, enabling players to have their own experience and to set up their own servers. In the old days we talked about RSP, we've been talking about private matches, but the concept that we will soon talk very much more about is about community games and enabling the players to set up their servers. So here and now I can't give you the exact date, but very soon you will hear much more about it and what will happen during Chapter 5.
This is the last question. Can we get a hint about the new chapter coming forward?
So, in regards to what might happen after Chapter 5, it's too early to tell, so I can't tell you anything about that. And we're all super proud of being here today and talking about the Pacific, the launch of Pacific, but also what will happen during Chapter 5 with Wake Island and a lot of other cool stuff that we haven't even dived into yet. So, but rest assured, we continue to love and guard our wonderful Battlefield 5, so stay tuned.
Okay, last one. Can you please say something to Korean users?
Yes. So last but definitely not least, I would like to reach out to all of you Korean players of Battlefield out there, and even those who might not be Battlefield players yet but think about jumping on the train. I think this is the perfect time. I'm so grateful for all the support we've gotten from you all through the years. And with Battlefield 5, I think we're continuously now gaining new ground and bringing new experiences to our players. So if you haven't jumped on Battlefield 5 yet, I think the Pacific is a great opportunity with the Year 2 edition. And if you're already in there, I really hope that you will like what we're bringing forward. So get in there, it's soon out, and with that, I hope to see you all on the battlefield.
여기까지가 제가 준비한 태평양전선에 관한 인터뷰 내용입니다. 인터뷰 자체는 태평양전선 업데이트에 집중되어 있기 때문에 우리가 궁금해하는 부분에 대한 답은 좀 부족할 수 있어요. 그렇지만 우선은 태평양전선에 집중하고 그 외 문제는 곧 답들이 나올 것 같아요. 완벽하진 않겠지만 적어도 게임이 지금보다 더 즐거워지는 방향으로 수정되길 바랍니다.
It seems like you prepared.
I was surprised. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for coming all the way. It's quite a journey.
Yeah, and the sensitive issue. I'm so sorry to ask about it.
No, but it's part of our
all
world.
Korean just focused in the issue, even though it's a very perfect map and
Yeah.
scene. So that's why I have to.
No,
ask
it's
you.
but it's important. Otherwise, you wouldn't do your job if you didn't raise the question. So you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.